Panasonic has just announced not one, but two new cameras and a new lens. The LUMIX S1 Mark IIe, the S1 Mark II, and a new 24 to 60mm f2.8 lens. This video is all about the S1 Mark IIe. Don't miss the other videos though that are released at the same time as this one, covering the S1 II and the new lens. For those who followed the S1R2 launch, the new S1 II and S1 IIe are in the exact same body, including the new tilt monitor, although the camera's sensors are completely different. This S1 IIe actually has the same sensor as the S5 II and S5 IIX, making it a similar camera to those, but with a newer body design and additional hardware capabilities, similar to the higher-end S1 II, yet barely 2% bigger than the S5 IIX. The sensor is 24 megapixels with 779-point phase detect autofocus, including a new urban sports autofocus mode and 14 stops dynamic range. It features dual native ISO with base ISO in Vlog at 640 and 4000. The S1 IIe can record full-frame video in 6K OpenGate 3:2 aspect ratio, 5.9K and 4K 16:9 ratio, and Cinema 4K 17:9 up to 30p, as well as Full HD up to 120p. If you drop to an APS-C crop, then you can shoot 4K and Cinema 4K up to 60p. It includes an interesting new crop ratio called CS4K, as in CinemaScope 4K. That's C4K wide at 4096 pixels and just 1728 pixels tall, or in a 6K variation at 5952 by 2512, making a 2.4:1 crop ratio, giving you that cinematic crop straight out of camera. And in this mode, you can actually shoot up to 60p using the full sensor width. Plus, the camera has up to 8 stops of image stabilization. One of my favorite new features is timecode support over Bluetooth, which I'm making a dedicated video for as well. I love shooting with timecode, so this is a really big deal. The camera supports, finally, native UVC over USB. In other words, webcam mode. Your S1 IIe can be your webcam for Zoom calls with just a USB cable. Another interesting new feature is that you can now move or copy files between the SD, CF Express Type B, and the external SSD drives. For still photographers, the S1 IIe will shoot up to 30 frames per second in continuous autofocus with a blackout-free shutter and up to 1.5 seconds of pre-burst. That's where it captures up to 1.5 seconds of photos from before you press the shutter. It's like having a built-in time machine. It now supports shooting stills to JPEG or HEIF, and when in HEIF, you can choose to shoot in SDR or HDR HLG mode, like you get from your iPhone. You do need to expose differently for that, so I'll be making a dedicated video on that capability. The camera also has Godox flash validation. Details are scarce on this, but it essentially means that Godox flashes can be validated to be officially supported by LUMIX cameras. Most of us have been using Godox flashes for years, so this is a nice bump to make the support official and possibly more integrated. As with the S1R2, these cameras now offer Capture One compatibility for both raw processing and tethered shooting. The camera includes a 3-month free trial to Capture One as well. There's an interesting new white balance feature that I haven't gotten to play with yet called AI Auto White Balance. It doesn't actually apply it while shooting, but instead you reprocess the raw photo in camera with the AI Auto White Balance enabled. Once I check it out, I may do a dedicated video on it. It sounds interesting, albeit a bit tedious to have to reprocess each photo in camera. We'll see. There are already firmware updates planned. The first will include multiple frame markers. That's the feature where you can see framing guides for, let's say, both 16:9 and 9:16 simultaneously while shooting in OpenGate mode. Currently, the camera can only show one frame marker at a time. Bluetooth support for DJI gimbals will be coming too, which means you'll no longer need a USB cable between your LUMIX and your Ronin. Plus, support for RA-Log C3 will come with a paid software update. There's also a battery grip for this camera, providing an additional battery and buttons for vertical shooting. You can choose to close the carbon fiber shutter blades when powering down the camera, a feature introduced in the S1R2. It shoots 96 megapixel photos in sensor shift high resolution mode. The S1 II shoots ProRes and ProRes RAW internally, uses SD and CF Express Type B cards, and can capture 32-bit float audio and 4-channel audio with the XLR2 adapter. It has front and rear tally lights, along with a red frame record indicator on the LCD, so there's no question if you're rolling or not. It supports RAW over HDMI for both ProRes RAW to Atomos and Blackmagic RAW to Blackmagic recorders. Updates required for the recorder hardware, which we don't have yet, so I couldn't test it, but it's all coming. You get waveform and vector scope and false color, shutter angle and synchro scan, anamorphic D-squeeze preview, the new Cine-like A2 color profile, true 24p in addition to 2398 and of course many frame rates for NTSC and PAL frequencies. You have S&Q or slow and quick mode for in-camera slow or fast motion, as well as live composite, time-lapse, onion skin, and stop motion capabilities. It supports real-time LUT with the LUMIX Lab app and the new LUMIX Flow app for storyboarding and for using your smartphone as an external camera monitor. It has internal proxy generation, Frame I/O integration, and built-in Wi-Fi or USB tethered RTMPS live streaming. It has full-size HDMI, 10 gigabit USB-C that supports PD power or recording to external SSD drives, microphone and headphone jacks all behind individual doors for maximum protection. It has a ton of massively customizable buttons, is dust and splash and freeze resistance, is rated for temperatures from -10 degrees Celsius or 14 Fahrenheit up to 40 degrees Celsius or 104 degrees Fahrenheit, although we all know the camera works great well beyond that. And just, well, all the features you've come to love from LUMIX. All of this comes in at $24.99, available June 16th, 2025. Here's a playlist of all of my S1 II and S1 IIe related videos. Click here next to be sure you watch them all.